Well, it's the day after Christmas. We actually have only one more Christmas to go, believe it or not. This will be 5 Christmas celebrations, so it's been wonderful. And we've eaten lots of good food, cooked a lot, but I'm making a nice meal today for our son and girlfriend and 2 more grandchildren that are coming over today. So I'm making some spaghetti. Spaghetti is very versatile, okay? It depends on what region you're from, the flavors that you can have in it and that kind of thing, but the kids really like my spaghetti, so I'm kind of proud of that. But I do some unique things that really make the flavor go up, okay? We certainly use a lot of onion and garlic, okay? But something that I do that really seems to make the flavors come out is I make my own spaghetti meatballs. I made these a couple of days ago and went ahead and cooled them down and put them in the refrigerator, so all I got to do is pop them into the sauce once the sauce gets cooked, okay? This is a pretty basic meatball type recipe, but I do add some fresh ingredients that really add some flavor. This is something I'm proud of that I do every summer. When we have our garden, we have lots of tomatoes and peppers out of the garden. So I roast my own tomatoes, take the skins off of them after they've cooled, and I puree all of this together and I put it in the freezer. This sauce can be used so many different ways. I use it in chilies, of course, spaghettis. I made a marinara sauce earlier this summer when the kids came home that was just delicious. You can just use it for a variety of things. So I really love this. And even if you don't grow your own vegetables, you can go to your local farmer's market and get tomatoes and peppers and make up your own combination of flavors that you like. If we get a chance this coming summer, we'll show you how we do this. And then the other thing that I try to keep around all the time is some fresh herbs. This is some flat leaf parsley and some oregano. We'll chop this up and we will throw this in at the very end of the cooking process. If you want to really wow people with the flavors in your food, fresh herbs just takes it to a whole new level. So I try to have some of that growing around here all the time. It depends on the time of year and if we've had any heavy frost and that kind of thing, but certainly you can still get this at your grocery store as well. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to brown my hamburger meat. I use a pound of hamburger meat. I'm going to salt and pepper it and cook it slightly to get some of the fat out of it. And I'm going to drain that fat out, and then I'm going to add some olive oil, and I'm going to fry my garlic and my tomato paste, which is a thicker type tomato, my tomato paste in with that meat and cook it a little bit more. I don't know what it is about putting that in there together. Gosh, that flavor just really comes through. The garlic tastes really good. The tomato, the acidity is just off the chart. And then, let me show you what else we're going to add to it, okay? Salt and pepper, certainly, a lot of that. A little bit of sugar, okay? Then I have some dried herbs that I'm going to add in there. Italian seasoning, cilantro, and some basil. Some garlic powder, and believe it or not, a little bit of cinnamon in there really amps the flavor up as well. Not a lot, just a little bit. So once we've browned the meat and then fried our garlic with our tomato paste, then we're going to add our onions and our tomato sauces, and we're going to put it all together and let it cook for about 30 to 45 minutes where the flavors get a chance to really marry. So I'm going to get started browning the meat, and we'll show you a little bit further in the process how we put all this together. Hamburger meat's been browning, so I'm going to drain the fat off of it really quickly. You don't want all this excess fat. A little fat in there is not going to hurt anything, but too much fat doesn't make it good. Drain this off. Okay, that's good. Okay, not totally browned all the way. It's still going to cook a little bit more. But you can see how that looks in there. Break that up really, really good. All right, now we're going to add the garlic. Something else I love to do is season my vegetables, so I put salt and pepper on my onions and on my garlic. A little bit of olive oil. Add this flavor to it. The meat's been seasoned really well with salt and pepper too. And now we're going to fry in our tomato paste with that garlic. And it's just going to infuse flavor. And then we're going to add the onions in just a couple more minutes. Now, here's how I do this. Get that out of away. And I just mash that tomato paste in with that meat and that garlic, and I just let it start cooking together. And the olive oil and the salt and pepper. And I just stir it around. Don't let it burn. It can scorch if you leave it in there, just cooking. But I want it to get good and hot and cook the flavor right out of that garlic into that tomato paste. And I have my eyes set on a medium heat, not too high, but not too low either, just kind of a medium high. It's going to be really good. Alright, let that cook for just a bit. Cover that, heat back through good. And then, after that cooks for another 3 or 4 minutes, I'm going to add the onions to it. Let that cook for another 3 or 4 minutes, just so the onions start to look clear. Then I'm going to add that great tomato sauce that I made over the summer. A little extra water. You know, we want it to be thick, but not too thick, where it won't spread over our spaghetti noodles really well. We're going to add all those seasonings and throw the meatballs in at the last minute. It's going to be delicious. And right at the end, when I turn the eye off, I'll chop up my fresh herbs, which is the parsley and the oreganos, which I had in season right now. Right at the end, when I turn the eye off, I'll throw it in there, stir it around, and it will continue to cook because there'll still be a lot of residual heat in the spaghetti sauce. We're going to have this with some garlic bread, of course, and a Caesar salad. It's going to be delicious. We'll finish it up in just a couple of minutes. This is looking so good. That is the homemade tomato sauce from the summer. Yeah, let me put a little water in here and slosh it around. I don't want to miss any part of that flavoring. Turn it down. It's going to start sloshing around in there. You don't want it to pop out on you. Stir this around a little bit. Look how great that looks. Oh my gosh. This is going to make a party in your mouth. Might add a little more water. It's still a little bit thick. We'll add some water to it along the way until we get it to the right consistency to spread over those spaghetti noodles. Alright, now let's add some flavoring. Alright, this is some basil. And what I like to do with these dried seasonings is I like to rub them in my hands, let the oils activate those flavors in there. That's some basil. Here's a little cilantro. Just you can add to your liking. Those are 2 great Italian flavors. And then some mixed Italian seasonings. Stir it around a little bit more. Water. Oh, it's going to be so good. I have some fresh Parmesan cheese that we're going to spread on top. Now this is just a dash or 2 of some sugar. That does add some great flavoring. A little bit of ground cinnamon. Not much, just a little bit. And then a good helping of the garlic powder. It's just going to help enhance those flavors as well. Oh, this looks awesome. Okay, I'm going to turn this down a little bit more. Now, the key now is just letting it cook for a while. We want these flavors to really come together well, and I'll taste it. I've put some salt and pepper in here already, but I'll probably have to add a little bit more. I just add a little at a time till I get it to the right flavors. And then at the very end, we'll throw those meatballs in and let those heat through good, and then turn it off, and we'll throw in the fresh parsley and the oregano. And the only thing left to do will be to eat it when everybody gets here. It's going to be great. Oh gosh, I wish y'all could smell this. It smells so good. We've added a little more salt and pepper because I tasted it a while ago. Needed a little bit more of that. And we probably added about 2 to 3 cups of water. You can see we've got a good pot of spaghetti sauce now. Oh, it just really smells so great. Now I'm going to add the meatballs. Now these meatballs I made with a pound of ground sausage and a pound of hamburger meat. My husband ate a few of them, so it's not quite as many as it was when I first made them. He had a meatball sandwich. But I added some half and half, a little bit of onion, some fresh herbs in there, salt and pepper of course, just, you know, whatever flavors you really like. And you can even put these in the freezer. You can make them ahead of time, put them in the freezer and just take them out. And so we're going to add these in. They're going to heat through really well. And then the last thing I'm going to add in here will be those fresh herbs. But we're going to let these meatballs heat through for just a few minutes, probably about 5 minutes or so. And then throw those fresh herbs in there, stir it around, turn the heat off, and just let this stuff sit. And really, spaghetti sauce, chilies, things like that, they're better the next day and the next day. You can make this several days ahead of time and then just take it out and heat it up. It just really is good like that too. Flavors just get better and better. But look how beautiful. That's a great consistency. That looks really good. I used a large can of tomato paste too, because I'm making a big batch. So I wanted it to have a good consistency. You don't want it to be runny. It needs to stick to that pasta. Now what I'll do is I'll make the spaghetti noodles right before time to eat. Pop the garlic bread in the oven, and then we'll have a good Caesar salad on the side. And it's going to be delicious. Spaghetti and meatballs are done, garlic bread. I'm going to go get me some salad, but look how great that looks. Delicious. It smells wonderful. Gotta put me some Parmesan cheese in there.